A friend of mine moved across the state and found that one important item costing $350 was stolen from the moving truck. He was very upset. He says, I work so hard. I try to save every single penny, and look what happened to me. He has a good job, well-to-do. Still, he was very upset. One sentence he said struck me. He says, I can't imagine somebody making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year. And if somebody loses this kind of money, it will be a disaster for them compared to me, who has a good job. Our talks show where we are attached to. Our ideas, our beliefs, our discussions are the proof where our consciousness is attached to. I told him, you may be walking on 2 feet and may be proud of the amount of walk or run you can do. If you have never seen a fish before, and if I bring a fish to you, the first thing you're gonna ask, I feel so sorry for the fish. How come he does not have any legs? Without legs, life can be miserable. Never knowing that fish has found its freedom despite the fact that it has no legs. It has found its joy. It has found its pleasures. So, our different beliefs, different ideas are the proof where our consciousness is attached. We cannot think out of the box. If money is our object, we think having money is a pleasure and losing money is a suffering. Think again. It may not be so with everybody else. Of course, everybody else could have a different set of pleasures. Could be alcohol, could be drugs, could be family. Some of these attachments can look so benign, in fact, very religious, very spiritual, very healthy, but they all are attachments. Going deep into meditation, enjoying the pleasures of meditation, and thinking that other people don't meditate, so there must be a lot of suffering in their lives. It's not necessarily true. There are many ways to reach to the bliss state. Everybody has created their own sources of pleasures. The only problem is when that source of pleasure is material, their pleasures are also gonna be finite, like matter. Every matter has 4 stages to go through: birth, growth, decay, and death. With these limitations, the pleasures coming out of it also would be going through the same stages: birth, growth, decay and death. So, looking at other people and having a selective view about life is a mistake. Ability to think out of the box comes when you go further deep into the dhyanastha state. That is where all the opinions, beliefs, ideas, dualities, they seem to merge back into the one wide source of consciousness. Because in this state, all the matter has dissolved to make all that as a melting point, reaching to the melting point and melting into the vast, undifferentiated, primordial consciousness. So when you go deeper into meditation, your ideas, your opinions, your beliefs become secondary. The life as we see is perceived by our five senses. And at that level, there are obvious differences. Eyes do differentiate between people. Ears do differentiate between the sounds. Likeable, not likeable. The tongue differentiates between the tastes. Again, likeable, not likeable. And based on this, we have a set angle to look at the world. As long as we live the life of senses, we are gonna see the differences. We are gonna see the duality. But as we go higher or deeper into the dhyanastha state, you walk away from the mind, which is the sit of the five senses, and you start looking at it at a distance. When you look at the mind at a distance, it loses its appeal. It loses its dual nature. Mind is duality. In fact, there is no duality. There is only one universal singularity. But because we have been accustomed to the life lived by five senses, we always see the duality. In fact, we expect other people to see the same duality as we do. We want them to see from the same angle as we do. If money is our priority, we feel sorry for the people who don't have money. Same way, people who do the drugs, they feel sorry for the people who don't do drugs. And list goes on. So this selective viewpoints shows the life at the mind level and at the sensorial level. Going deeper within, finding an observer who is a witness to all this duality is where you find the singularity, the infinite consciousness, which is responsible for producing all these dualities and also the sense organs to perceive the duality. But the sense organs and the duality that you see outside which you are perceiving, they all are the creations of this consciousness. It is an illusory play that's going on within the belly of this vast consciousness, just the way you see the dreams at night and you create the duality within yourself, and yet you have only one mind and a single awareness located within your mind, but able to create the dualities, create the whole world in your dream. Same way, the consciousness has created this world. The sense organs are the consciousness, and the world that is perceived by the senses is also created by the consciousness. So everything is consciousness. Duality is an illusion. The soil in which we put a seed is also a consciousness. Seed itself is a consciousness. The sunlight that is being provided is also a consciousness. The rain coming in is also a form of consciousness. The offshoot coming out, small plant coming out, becoming a big tree, all are part of the consciousness. Just the way you create jungles and animals and people within your mind, they are all created from your own consciousness. We are mini gods creating this dream world within ourselves. Same way, consciousness has created this world within itself, but it's a play. For someone who understands this trick of the nature, merges with the consciousness and lives in an unillusioned way, in an awakened way, in a Buddhist state, where your intellect reaches to the highest level, where you see the world, you understand the whole world, and at the same time, the senses become immaterial. So the angle of looking at the world changes, and this is the only change you have to do in the path of evolution, because beyond that there is no more differentiation. Different people who have not been awakened, they will have different ideas, different views, different angles of looking at the world, but only the awakened person will have one view. If he meets another awakened person, and beyond which there is no more awakening, no more change of ideas, no more change of beliefs, no more different sets of visions for the world. That's where the evolution ends, and man has become God. Have a good day.